from the Opus Radio News Center, this is an Opus Radio News Update.
Good Fat Tuesday morning. I'm Al Quartemont with your web news update. As the big party happens in New Orleans today, there are plenty of local Mardi Gras celebrations around the state. In Alexandria, the Mardi Gras week concludes with the 17th annual Crew of Provine Parade this afternoon and a downtown party tonight. The Provine Parade starts at 3 p.m. on Coliseum Boulevard. Organizers say there will be at least 20 floats. They've invited all participants who had planned to be in Saturday's Children's Parade that was canceled by the rain to be part of their parade today. And if the Provine Parade is not enough for you, the Diamond Grill in downtown Alexandria is hosting its Mardi Gras party tonight. That will be from 6 to 10 p.m. Tickets for that event will be $30 at the door. Meanwhile, the party is going on and won't stop until midnight in New Orleans. Bourbon Street packed with revelers and more lining up across the city for the parades that got underway at sunrise and will conclude at midnight tonight. This year, Carnival has seemed a little bigger and perhaps more brash than in recent years since Hurricane Katrina, in part because Mardi Gras falls later this year during spring break. Weather on the mind of revelers after rain in the forecast for the Mardi Gras afternoon. Heavy storms canceled some parades over the weekend. Another party getting set to take place in Alexandria next weekend is the annual Queuing on the Red Barbecue Festival. City officials say it will be a bit scaled back this year, at least in terms of music, a smaller budget for this year's event. Queuing will be held Friday, March 18th and Saturday, March 19th. This year's headliner music act will be Atlanta Records musician Mark Broussard. 100 years ago today, the city of Pineville experienced a terrible tragedy when its mayor, John Emmett Walker, was shot and killed by William McManus. It was a shooting that occurred on Main Street in front of Turner's store following a dispute over a lawsuit involving McManus' son. Well, the city will officially commemorate the 100th anniversary of that event as current Mayor Clarence Fields, the Pineville City Council, and the family of Mayor Walker will gather at the Mount Olivet Cemetery. That's the place where Walker is buried for a ceremony that will start at 2 p.m. this afternoon. In state news, the panel that determines how much money the state has to spend each year has revised estimates, saying an increase in tax collections means an extra $178 million for the state over the next 16 months. Although higher than expected sales and personal income tax collections has generated more revenue, the extra money, $112 million in the current fiscal year and $66 million for the next year that starts July 1st, will barely make a dent in the state's $1.6 billion budget shortfall, which will begin in the 2011-2012 budget cycle. The head of Nucor Corporation says plentiful natural gas supplies are making it possible for the steel maker to come to Louisiana, and also offers the prospects of creating thousands of jobs nationwide. Chief Executive Dan D'Amico speaking after he and Governor Jindal formally breaking ground yesterday on a $750 million iron-making plant in St. James Parish. The plant is part of what could eventually be a $3.4 billion complex employing up to 1,250 people. The first phase calls for 150 permanent jobs. Former Louisiana Governor Buddy Roemer in Iowa this week. He's one of 5 Republicans seeking next year's presidential nomination, all 5 taking the stage at a church forum in Des Moines, suburb of Waukee. The forum, hosted by the Iowa Faith and Freedom Coalition, also included former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty, businessman and former Godfather's Pizza CEO Herman Cain, and former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum. Roemer got some of the loudest applause with his folksy speech that focused on America's conservative past.
I helped lead the Boll Eagles. Remember them? That was me. Work with Ronald Reagan every day. And I'm proud that we helped turn this great country around.
Earlier in the day, Congressman Ron Paul of Texas, who sought the GOP nomination back in 2008, spoke at 3 events scattered throughout the state of Iowa. In Tuesday's sports, Derrick Rose scoring 24 points. The Chicago Bulls beating New Orleans 85-77 last night, with Hornet star Chris Paul sidelined by a concussion. David West and his teammates were in the game until the final 3:15 of the fourth quarter, when they were completely shut out.
I thought everybody collectively played well enough, and they had a chance to put us away. We fought back in it, but that last 3 minutes, they're a tough team.
With Paul watching from the bench, Jarrett Jack, starting in Chris Paul's place, led the Hornets with 23 points. We have more news on our Truth 104.3 FM Facebook page. You can always send us your news. Send on news at opusbroadcasting.com. Have a great Fat Tuesday. I'm Al Quartemont.